everyone, and welcome to the Martial Mind Podcast. I'm John, I'm joined by Ed and Ryan, and today we're going to talk about the Liberty Kung Fu Tournament. We're going to talk about an upcoming test that I will be participating in, oh boy, and some other training stuff we've been going through over the last few weeks, so let's get into it. Well, boys, how are we feeling today?
I'm feeling pretty good. Training very consistently for the past, when did we go to South Carolina? November last year? So, like, it's been a pretty straight shot of, like, reevaluating, like, the post-Black Sash, you know, am I comfortable in my skill level? Like, let's keep going. I definitely feel like we've made a lot of strides as a group and individually, a lot of strides and progress in the past, year and change, especially since we've been doing the show. I think this is definitely like it's like a little angel on your shoulder that's trying to get you to do good. You know what I mean? Definitely something that keeps you on the right track. I think would be having this, and everybody who's like listening to us and following us, like holding us accountable and like counting on us. People are in the Discord asking about like how you're doing on your test prep. You know, like isn't that pretty cool? There's like some dude in Australia who's got a vested interest in your success.
Hey, you know, I definitely appreciate it, and that's been something that's been on my mind. But I want, before we get into the test, I wanted to ask you guys about the tournament that just passed, if that's all right with you.
It isn't, but
okay,
it's okay.
And how dare you?
Well, that was episode 43. Thanks for joining us, everyone.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah, it's been real.
Don't join the Discord.
Don't
what? Do that.
Don't
fuck yourself.
So about a week ago, Sifu Raul Ortiz, who you may have heard in one of our prior episodes, we interviewed him. It was awesome.
Episode 40, definitely worth a listen.
Definitely. He hosted a tournament, the Liberty Kung Fu Tournament. Liberty Kung Fu Cup, was it called?
I think so.
Yeah. And we were there, and Ed and Ryan competed, and I brought the camera and shot some awesome video. So, guys, tell me what that day was like for you. What were your thoughts? What were your emotions like in the morning leading up to it? Like,
John was just filming like the most stressful episode of The Office. I'm just like sitting there like, and it's just like slow zoom in. I'm like, please.
Yeah, Ryan had no personality for the first 3 hours of the day until like the first like open hand form segment was up, which they had everything happen first. And it's just like when you're sitting in anxiety and there's people competing in Tai Chi, and you're just like anxious about having to do your form. You're just like, it's like the slowest death on earth. It's like someone's turning the heat up by 1 degree, and you're in an oven. You know you're gonna get cooked eventually, but it's like 55 degrees.
It's like it's like if like the like
58 degrees.
It's like if the French Revolution was happening and like you were like King Louis and like the guillotine was like in the back of like the DMV. You're just standing in line. You're just like, God damn it! I want to die quicker because I'm here. Like, for fucking sake.
So competing is important for a number of reasons. First and foremost, training for the competition obviously pushes you to be your best self and to reevaluate your material and your skill level in all facets, especially if you're fighting. Second of all, this is the second time I have competed. The last time I competed was all the way back in 2019, prior to COVID, right before I tested for my Black Sash, and I was happy with my form work, but my fighting was a problem, and that's why I've been doing so much work on my fighting. That's why my head movements improved a lot. That's why my technique and my wind has improved a lot just from that. And then I was humbled again last November in South Carolina, which we've discussed. And then leading up to it, we have been doing a lot of sparring, a lot of training, a lot of fighting, a lot of form work, and overcoming that anxiety that makes you rush through your movements, and like for the traditional practitioners that are listening, rush through your movements and like not understand and appreciate what the form is trying to say, and how Sifu Greg talks about it, the story the form is trying to tell. The form is telling a story. It's telling a tale, from start to finish, whether it's an internal form or an external form or an internal external form. It's telling a story. Because of the nerves, I feel like I did well when I performed my open hand form, but I didn't place because I didn't tell a story. I fast forwarded through the story.
Right.
I think I did well, but I don't think I told the story well. Ryan, however, did a much shorter form and took first and open hands. So good on you.
I was wearing a cape and a mustache the whole time, so that was the main problem. Ed wasn't wearing a cape and a mustache. I was.
10 points for wardrobe.
Like, ooh, this is spooky. Spooky form.
You bring him the old razzle dazzle.
Everyone else just did normal gay forms, but I did a cape and mustache form, so it was pretty cool.
I didn't throw glitter at the end. I think that was the problem. Yeah.
No sequins. Like, come on, man.
Yeah. No sparkly outfits. You know what I mean?
I did all the normal like old world party tricks in like reverse order. I ate a snake. I crapped out a sword. It was just all like, you're used to this. Wait till you see this.
Oh, it's like, God, how do you fit it up there? You know, it's crazy.
Well, so that was the open hand forms. Now there was also a weapon form. So what was your performance like with weapon forms, Ed?
So let me break it down. So this is what's beautiful about competing is you get to see everything, and our teachers are still relevant. Mm-hmm. And that's the difference between our Sifus and a lot of other Sifus that I've heard of in their age bracket. They get into their 40s and 50s and they just stop and they live off of their sash. They live off of what they have done. But our teachers don't really care about that. They care about staying relevant, and they care about pushing themselves to be better than they were when they were in their 20s, even in their 50s. And Sifu Greg took first place across the board. So with each division, by the time we got to go, we then got to watch our teachers go. We got to watch Sifu Lloyd and Sifu Greg go up there and do their thing. And in comparison to the video of my performance, because my fiance took a video of me, and then looking at what I did and looking at what he did when he performed, I was like, oh, he did a classic Shaolin form. He did a Shaolin form. It was night and day, you know? So I took from that, and I was like, all right, I got through my first set of forms. The anxiety is not gone, but a little bit better, you know? So let me take this, let me tell the story of the form. And I did Dao form, broadsword form. And I did much better. And I took third. Ryan took second there. And I forget his name, but someone else took first. Mm-hmm. Very nice guy. Very nice guy. But somebody else took first. Ryan did a staff form.
I did Sifu's staff form.
Yeah, Sifu Greg's creative form from his black sash with wind staff. And
it's called that because you have no air in your body when you finish doing it.
Yeah, that's true. It takes all the wind out of you.
All of your air is now in the room. None of it's in your lungs.
But now the next
you finish in your husk.
Yeah.
The next form to learn is the fluid staff. So.
Yeah. Form's also called carbon dioxide. You know? It's all that's left.
You're just holding like a long muffler.
Yeah.
First we take your air, and then we take your fluids.
Is that a catalytic converter? It's like there's a lot of exhaust coming out of me.
$800 for one of those.
They're like, I'm like behind a curtain. They're like, form's gonna start. You just hear like an engine go on. You're like, curtain comes up. I'm just like in a car with all the windows up. I'm like.
Ryan did a quick shot of fuel injector cleaner before he goes out there, you know.
Gotta clean your spark plugs before you get out there.
Gotta get the pipes clean, you know. So I definitely applied that to my broadsword form. Again, you know, like I've got a lot of work to do. I don't mind not placing in certain things, or it's just inspiration to do better later. But Ryan really took it home, and really took it home. And Sifu Greg won first place in everything he did.
Yeah, he won and then he won the Grand Championships for
the Masters division.
For weapons and for open hand. Definitely, though, you know, I think just going back to what's important is the mental state of doing something like this is for us to be able to experience that. Because, well, not only was like, I think out of everyone there, our school was like doing the most. Because like we were, I mean, just even between the two of us, I mean, we had to open with a lion dance that had
nothing to do with the tournament whatsoever. Yeah. Nothing to do with competition.
Yeah, we
just had extra physical activity to do.
We were performing the lion dance, so we were already tired by the time we did that. And we're performing it in front of everyone and like all the judges, which are all like kung fu teachers and masters, basically, or at least people that are, you know, in Sifu Raul's kind of close circle.
Yeah. Martial arts community.
Yeah. We had to do that. Then me and Ed had to do an open hand form. We had to do a weapon form. We had to do a weapon embu, and then we had to fight as well. And the fighting, of course, was at the fucking end, which just like the test is horribly nerve-wracking. Because I'm just like, you know, and
because you're thinking about it the whole day.
Oh, the entire day, and so just like Ed said, you know, the first, you know, before I did my open hand, I was like very just kind of like definitely super nervous and kind of in that like cocoon a little bit, but also just trying to like be in like the pocket, you know, like trying to stay in that mindset a little bit. But yeah, I mean, it was just to feel that and then need to still perform and do kind of complete your tasks regardless, I think is one of the main takeaways from this, is to be like, oh my god, what if I forget my form? What about this? What about that? What if I just forget how to do kung fu? All of a sudden, when I walk up there, it's like going to the airport. Wow, did I bring my cocaine bomb with me today?
That happened to my brother.
Yeah.
He just got up there and did a different form than he intended to. He got up there and started and was like, oh, I guess I'm doing this one now.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
Just went with it. You know?
Yeah. So we got through open hand, which I was very pleased with. And it was cool too, because not only, I think this was exciting for probably both of us, because it was not only getting to like rep our school, perform in front of other teachers, but also even just to like, you know, like for me personally, I've never like done anything in front of like any of like Sifu Raul's guys before. Like I've never, like they've only seen me at seminars. Like I've never done anything with them in that.
Which we get lots of compliments for doing stuff like that, but they've never seen us just like go.
Yeah, they've never seen us actually do like our shit before. So that was also really cool. And just to be able to rep the school and see our quality of the martial arts that Qigong and Sifu teach and uphold. And also like Shurjia was there, which was really cool. Our teacher's main teacher, who he stayed for the whole thing, which was awesome. And again, it was just a great. You know, I haven't gotten to do something like that in a while. You know, I used to, play soccer, and I used to do, go to like, I used to run track, so going to track invitationals and kind of having that like, our fucking team is here, and kind of the whole camaraderie of that and performing and, winning and trying to win and stuff and the whole competition. Like it's a cool aspect that like I haven't experienced in a while, and like just as a school we haven't really experienced in a while. Because again, for me, this was my first. I've been training at the school for. Be like 11 years in the fall, and like this is the first time I've ever competed. You know what I mean? Second time he's ever competed. The first time was like an open karate tournament. Which is still better than nothing. But
it's better than nothing. But I was against one kid. My mother's like, "Why don't you care about your trophies?" I'm like, because I beat an 18-year-old. Like, I'm not impressed with that.
Well,
I'm much happier with taking third in weapons against like 15 people who have all been doing it for like 12 to 15 years. For like 10 to 15 years, because some of these guys were amazing. I mean, like, they're stretching out in full splits. They're doing like crazy, like chain butterfly kicks, like, and all this, insane technique. I unfortunately did not watch the guy who took first place. I was just kind of in my head about like being on to the next thing. So I didn't watch what he did, but I'm glad he took first place, because now I can have something to look forward to for next year. Okay, so what can I do next year? That's going to be even more, not impressive, but just a display of skill, like, so when we were getting ready to record, it takes a long time to set all this stuff up and like get the camera shots ready, because we don't have a set studio. So it's just every time we do this, it's like 2 hours of turning John's living room into a studio.
Yeah.
So it's time consuming to like get everything right and make sure we're getting like the highest quality that we can for the people who are watching. That being said, while I was doing that, I'm not a camera guy. I'm not a tech guy. That's these guys. So like I help set up what I can set up, and then like everything else, I am just absolutely
that is
inept.
just stating.
I'm just inept. So I'm going through my Google photo library, and I'm like looking at the past and the past stuff, and like looking at my past movement, and like at times when I thought I was so good, and then I look at how I move and how my forms and everything are now, and how my mobility is now, and now I think I suck. So it's like. It doesn't make any sense, because when I look at the videos of me performing now, it's 1,000 times better than back then when I thought I was good because I had just gotten my black sash, and now I think I suck. And like, you know what I mean? Like, you play these head games with yourself, and you need moments like this. You need challenges to prove to yourself who you are and what you're capable of.
Yeah.
And like, Sifu said, like, everything happens for a reason. And like, the universe gives you what you need at the time, and that you got what you needed that weekend, and that I got what I needed, and then in other frames in a story we'll tell in a moment, that the universe made way for you to get what you need, and I'll get my turn at another time, because we had to fight at the end of it. But here's the fun thing: I'm a heavy boy. I'm a big boned boy. I'm 215 pounds, and I have a little bit of extra fat, but like not that much, like 215 pounds. Ryan's 190. There was nobody in his weight class. Everybody was 170 and underneath. Yeah. And I had one person to fight in the 200-pound plus division. And by the time we got to the Sanda, they asked Ryan to move up a weight class. So we had to draw straws, essentially. And I got the bye. So I had to wait to fight, which was nerve-wracking. But I will let Ryan tell the story of the let's go back in time. We'll come back to that. We'll Tarantino them, and then we'll start at the end, go back to the beginning.
Right.
So Ryan, what was your experience like from start to finish with the open hand forms, watching our teachers do their thing?
Yeah, I mean, it was just getting to see our teachers on the floor and getting to, again, it's such a moment of pride to see them not only competing but like placing and winning, and just to have that same fire that like they had when they were competing all the time, and it just doesn't really go away, and that they practice what they preach, and they're just like, all right, we got to get out there. You guys are getting out there. We're getting out there, and like, and I'm sure too, if there was people in Sifu's age group and experience level that was going to fight and he wasn't injured, he'd be fighting probably, so it's like it's
yeah, if there was somebody else fighting in at that tournament, he would have fought. He would have thrown some Bengay on his back and just gone in there and killed somebody,
Yeah, I mean, it was just getting to again, see them kind of put their money where their mouth is and practice what they preach, and just be like, yeah, this is what we do and this is how we do it, and
represent Shaolin, represent the system, represent everything that they've worked for. And even more to your point, what Sifu was saying the other day is like, Shurja was really proud of all of us. Like, because you have to understand, like, you're competing, so regardless of how you place, you have to think there's judges in front of you. And so what are they looking for? Everybody's got their own opinion. So you're talking about 4 people's opinion. So you can't place and have that then identify how you are as a martial artist. When you do well, you can be proud of yourself, but at the same time, you can't let that give yourself a big head,
of course,
or a big ego, or damage you and damage your self-worth and damage your whatever. You know what I mean? I'm not a bad kung fu practitioner because I didn't place. I just need to do better next time. I just need to perform better. Well, you know what I mean? In any division.
I just think being able to perform and deal with that pressure. I mean, dude, there were times where I wanted to like run out of there. Like I just my brain was just like fight or flight. It was like, go, leave, run. They can't stop you. By the time they know you're gone, you're already gone. Like just like my body was just like, get the fuck out of there, get the fuck out of there, get the fuck out of there, get the fuck out of there. And I was just like, no. I was like, I just got to stay here and just deal with this, and it'll be okay. And also thinking too, I was really, it's one thing I've been trying to work on for a really long time is just trying to have the lessons I learn when I'm feeling good and I'm reflecting on the times I was feeling bad, to actually take those lessons and have them impact the next time that I'm feeling that way.
Yeah, I think that was a big learning curve for me as well. I think we're sharing that moment. Right?
Yeah, because like for me in that moment, I was just like, I was trying to, because when you're feeling stressed out about a thing that you're in, it feels like it's going to be happening forever. There's almost like this implicit base, like subconscious feeling of like, this is going to be forever, and that's why I feel this way. It's like, no, it's like, this is like, I literally was like, in 6 hours, this is going to be over. I'm going to be home. I'm going to be at my house with you guys having dinner. Like this is a impermanent thing. This is an impermanent state. So why not just try to enjoy it, or at a minimum, just take the ride for what it is. If it's fucking shitty in the sense of it being really anxiety-inducing, woo, let it be that way and just ride it. Just let it go, And that actually, I think, helped. It didn't make me feel less anxious, but I had a better time of staying in that moment and kind of holding on to the reins a little bit better, and being able to actually just be in it and not just be a victim to those feelings. Still feel them, but not be victimized by them, which I think is a different thing. Because the same thing almost like they talk about with courage. It's like, not saying that this was courageous, I just mean it as a similar thing of like, you're going to feel, even people who are courageous still feel fear. That's what courage is. Courage is
action in the face of fear.
Yeah, it's not absence of emotions that you don't like. So in saying that, it felt really good to be able to still perform and do as well as I did, not just for me, but also just for the school. I think that was like I think it was in like the top 3 like highest ratings for forms for the whole day, which like made me feel good that I was able to kind of put the best foot forward. Again, not just for me, but just so that we can represent the school. Like Sifu said, it's like a win for anyone at the school is a win for all of us. It's just, it's moving. Like, yes, does it feel good to do that? Absolutely. But it's like moving, knowing that we're not just there for ourselves. We're there for our teacher. We're there for each other. We're there to represent the school, our style, what we do. And it's important to balance both of those things. Same things too with weapons. Perfect example. Sometimes shit happens. Like I thought the form itself went really good, and I fucked up a part. There's a part where you spin down at the sitting dragon, and I completely didn't get up properly, and I was just like, my like limbs just stopped working, and that's what
cost you first, I think.
Yeah, I think so too. That's what.
I think my form wasn't flashy enough. There like wasn't enough flash in the weapons form compared to others. I feel like stuff that had a little bit more technicality to it definitely won. But I think I did a good job of representing what that form does and what that form means.
And I'm telling you,
I just
too,
don't think like some form. I'm sorry, I don't mean to cut you off. Some forms are winning forms, as Sifu says. You know what I mean? So when you're choosing your form, you want a little bit of drama, you want a little bit of flash, but you also want enough that you can control. And I picked broadsword because I wasn't. I wanted to do something I was confident in. I didn't want to do something that I was not confident in.
It's a better bet.
And I honestly think that it was the right decision to make.
I think so too.
And that next year I can take that and take the year to work towards the tournament next year. You know?
Yeah, 100%. And the same thing too. Again, it's this whole day. Same thing with testing or any sort of challenge is also challenging. It's like sparring. It's like those bad parts of you kind of bubble up to the surface more for, you know, just be like, fuck you, and they just go back down, you know. So it's like, you know, me challenging my anxiety, you know, being able to and not question my ability in the sense of like, what if I just forget all my kung fu right now, you know, and all that shit, you know. And same thing with like fighting and everything, and same thing even with you of you know, you come back from your open hand form and you're like it was rushed, or like I fucked this up, and it's like balancing that of like, no, like that's not like we can't just focus on those things that our brain wants us to focus on because we're it's habitually comfortable for us to do that, you know. And that's why, again, having people in our lives in our inner circles, holy Jesus, in our inner circles.
Sorry, you got there, buddy.
Inner circles, who can
First
help.
place in the tournament, last place in grammar and vocabulary. You know what I'm saying? Joe Biden. I got Rocky Road. It's my favorite.
I knew an ice cream joke was coming. It's Joel Byron.
I got a whole refrigerator full.
Take me out on a date, Joe Byron.
I got all the kids ice cream sandwiches.
I get them distracted so I can smell their hair.
Neutrogena, my favorite.
L'Oreal.
Anyway, now that we got that out of the way.
Yeah,
now we got the president smelling kids segment out of the way.
Yeah.
Let's get back to the tournament, guys.
I just want to say we would never kill ourselves. You know what I mean? We would never commit suicide.
We are not depressed.
Totally, yeah.
We're having a great time.
Above board. But
none of us drink the Kool-Aid. None of us drink Kool-Aid at all.
you know, but with that point again, you know, like you kind of battling that for yourself, you know, and trying to, and seeing that, you know, and you having more of a, not to make it about you, but just to, you know, being someone on the outside, you know, helping you battle that like knee-jerk reaction to like only criticize and like only nitpick and only look at what you didn't do and why it's less than it should be, you know. And we all struggle with that in different ways and to different you know, in different amounts. So I just think it was good for everyone involved, and your forms looked fucking awesome. And I think, and what's funny, and you know what's so funny is that I think, you know, because I sent you like a long text after the tournament because I knew you were upset with certain things about it. And what's funny,
we haven't talked about the fighting yet, too. So.
Oh yeah, we'll get to that. But what's funny is that just the timing of everything, that you came across old videos of yourself like within the week afterwards. Because like one of the things I said to you is I was like, and I've said this to you before, but like, dude, if like intermediate student you from like 6 years ago saw what you're doing now, he would be blown. He'd be like, there's no fucking way I'm doing that. And then you found old footage of yourself as an orange sash, as an intermediate student, and you're just like, dude, wow, holy shit.
What was cool,
like, that's
though,
crazy.
What was cool, though, is if you go back, this is why it's important to experiment and workshop with your friends, right? So if we go back in time, Ryan and I have obviously been training together and working together for the entirety of our
literally
careers. And we were orange sashes together before my knee injury, and we were doing an open hand fighting set that was like kind of hokey, and like we thought it was super long, but it was actually like 5 seconds long, you know. Basically, you literally like turn around and like grab my throat like it's a DC movie.
Yeah.
And there's this one part where like I fall to the floor and I kick and he grabs my foot and I pop up and do a spinning kick and try to hit him in the face from the ground, which I did to Jeff Chan.
Oh, that's funny.
So like this thing came from a fighting set from years and years and years ago, and then when Jeff caught my kick, that's when I attempted to do that like kick from the floor, and I almost hit him. I almost got him. I mean, like, Jeff is fucking fast. You know what I mean? Like, his reaction time is like really quick. So he literally barely he like did one of those, and his head jerked back, and that's good enough though. Like if you slipped it, you slipped it. You don't have to slip it by a mile. You're actually better off slipping it by like a quarter inch. So like how much he avoided my foot is actually a show of his skill. And you know what I mean? It wasn't like a lucky thing at all. I think that was all his skill level that he didn't get hit by that. Right. But imagine if I connected. You know what I mean? Imagine if I connected. That would have been like, oh shit! It would have been like that. Remember that old rap battle video with the dude with the glasses?
Oh yeah, and he just like leans back. The guy press on the camera like, oh!
And he's like, apple juice. I drink that. Oh, you know what I mean? Like all that stupid shit. Yeah. It would have been that big moment, you know. But you know, that was in my body somewhere. That was in my muscle memory somewhere because we were experimenting and because we were working on stuff. So regardless of how it looks, take video. Regardless of how good you're doing, play. Play is really, really important. Play is something that we lose as we get older, and I think that's what gravitates a lot of people back to martial arts, is because there is a lot of play involved in martial arts. Because what is sparring if not play? When sparring isn't play, it becomes a fight.
Right.
And that's when people get in trouble and that's when people get hurt. Hard sparring is a thing, but whenever anybody gets emotional in sparring, who's the bad guy? The guy who starts trying to kill somebody and getting angry every time. You know? Whoever starts, that's why they used to call me the Orange Hulk, because they were like trying to shame it out of me. You know what I mean? Like,
because Ed is a bad guy. Just
as a criminal.
Just kidding. Oh, he's a fun criminal though.
He's a criminal.
You're a fun bandit. That's like
like Yamcha.
Bandit.
Like old Yamcha.
Right.
Dude, I'm rewatching the original Dragon Ball, and like everyone is a scumbag except for Goku. It's like everybody's a rampant piece of shit. Like everyone.
Everyone's a scumbag.
They are. Yamcha's like a bandit that like kills people. Bulma wants to get the Dragon Balls just so she can end world hunger. She just wants to wish for a boyfriend. You know what I mean? Like Oolong is a pervert. You know, and he's kidnapping girls and like taking them back to his house. You know,
God.
It's an awful show. It's an awful show. Like the original Dragon Ball is like, I love it still. Like Dragon Ball Z is like still my shit. But like, oh my God, the original Dragon Ball is awful. Like, do not watch it with your kids. Like, do not watch it with. It's made for kids in the 80s, and that's why people are so fucked up today. You know what I mean?
Blame Dragon Ball.
Yeah, blame Dragon Ball. Do not watch it today. Literally, like Bulma is supposed to be like a teenager, and they have her flashing people and shit. Like, it's fucked up. It's fucked up. She's like laying in bed, and Yamcha's like, "Oh, that must be a Dragon Ball," and he grabs her boobs. And he goes, "Quick, quick!" Ooh, it's soft. And he like loses his mind, and they have like an anime nosebleed. You know what I mean? Like it's so fucked up.
Feral anime,
dude. So fucked up. But
anyway,
I forgot where I was entirely. Oh yeah, I'm a bad guy. Apparently, I'm a criminal.
That's all right. We'll bring it back home.
I'm not really. I guess I was maybe a little bit. I don't know.
Bit.
I've grown a lot.
Wouldn't a criminal deny it though?
Crazy people don't know they're crazy.
I don't know that.
It's also.
I don't know.
Oh God.
I don't think I.
Wait a minute.
A little fear and anxiety.
Hold on.
So play is an important part of martial arts, and that's why we get back there. But all that play leads to better skill. When we have fun, like the fun that him and I had training for the Sanda portion of this tournament, increased our skill level. 100% increased our skill level. We went to the high school and like worked out on the turf, and we're just throwing each other around for like 2 hours. Didn't even realize 2 hours went by, even though we were like dripping sweat, like training in 100-degree weather. Like, you know, just because we were having fun doing it. But when it becomes this thing, it's so heavy and it becomes hateful. And then how can you push yourself to new heights when everything is about how bad you are and how good you wish you were? When really it should be just like having fun learning. It has to be having fun learning. You can recognize the things that you want to work on. You can feel bad about them. If you know, like that's a natural emotion. You can feel bad about them. But then you have to learn how to then synthesize that as fuel to then push yourself to go further.
Right.
You know? So before we got into the fighting and before we got into the Sanda, what I wanted to do, keep him on the hook, you know, keep him waiting for that good old juice. What I wanted to do was, John, I wanted to ask you as a person who trains in our system, who has never seen anything like this before, and being there behind the camera and paying attention to all the details, what was your experience? And again, we'll tell the story of the fight after this. But what was your experience, and how did you feel? How did it make you feel to watch everybody in action? Did it inspire you? Did it make you question your skill level? Did it make you feel confident for the test? Did it make you feel uncomfortable coming up to the test? Like what was going on in your mind as you were filming and as you were watching everybody move around?
Well, once I got there, I was immediately greeted with, why aren't you competing? Why aren't you doing this? And it's like, well, I didn't feel like I was ready. I felt like it was just so far above my pay grade. But like,
there was a division for people with your years in,
right? And like you guys, I knew that leading up to the tournament, but I just I didn't feel like I had it. I didn't feel like I was really ready for it. But like afterwards, totally was absolutely within my realm if I put my pedal to the floor and got on the gas like I should have. But there's always next year. Mm-hmm. But having got to watch you guys compete, and especially like Seagong's performance blew me away, because he really it was go time for him. Like he got up there and just I've never seen, I've seen Seagong go, but he was going when he was doing his forms. He was really in fight mode, and it was amazing watching him move. And it's just it's a real testament to the quality of our school, the way that he performed. And I know you guys feel the same, but it made me proud to be a student at Authentic Shaolin. It's just it was an unbelievable experience to watch everybody get up there. And Sifu too. Sifu did an awesome job. Yeah. But one thing that I saw that was common between everybody there was that no one felt good about their stuff. Nobody thought they did well, even people that placed. And I'm like, dude, I was so wowed by everyone. All you guys look great out there. It was the coolest shit I've ever seen, and I was really blown away. And it was just really cool to be. I rocked the shirt. I was like, I do the Shaolin shirt. I'm one of them guys. I'm definitely one of them. I was just on media day today, but it was such an amazing experience. I'd never been to a kung fu competition prior. I'd never been to anything like that.
Oh, that's why Sifu Raul started this up. So regardless of where you are in the country or anywhere at all, stay tuned for the next time. Follow the Ortiz Chinese Boxing Academy on Instagram. Follow them on Facebook, wherever you can, and keep your eye on the posts for the next tournament, because we only had 40 something competitors, and we need more. Yeah. A tournament of that size should be 100 competitors plus at least. So that, and some heavier people come and fight, please, for the love of God.
God, if I go up there and I'm like borderline 260, 270, so it's
nobody's end up putting you in super heavyweight.
Yeah,
I don't know if there is a division for that.
I need a big boy to come and fight with me. I need a big boy. Come on, let's go. It can be friendly. I'm not talking shit. I just need someone to fight with.
There literally is nobody in his division. There's not a single one.
Somebody.
You just have to get Daniel Cormier to come down. And just
just me and DC. No problem. Yeah, just gonna get tapped out by the champ.
Yeah,
or the former champ.
That's gonna go real well. I guarantee you, it's gonna go real well.
I'm sure he's real busy. He doesn't have time to deal with my fat ass. But that was, I was just going to say that it was really just such a humbling and tremendous experience to watch you guys compete. I was just so proud to be part of the group, one of your buddies. And it was really such a great day.
How did it make you feel about your training, and where did it make you want to go?
Oh, well, right now I'm in the process of preparing for the test. The test is a few weeks away.
That's what I mean. How did it affect how you want to tackle this test?
So it's I've kind of I've been deliberate, but it just makes me feel like I should have been doing it all along. Ryan and Ed and I have had a couple of meaningful talks about my training and kind of applying myself further, trying to squelch bad habits and to be serious about who we are, it's the ongoing journey. It's the ongoing struggle of just trying to be a better martial artist and be better to myself. And so seeing this tournament, knowing that there's more than just training, there doesn't have to be more than just training, but knowing that there's all right, there's something we can shoot for besides tests. And there's other ways that, other goals to have in mind to really apply yourself towards. It's just more fuel for the fire, just to walk the path and to be more true to who we are and to work harder. Mm-hmm. It's certainly motivational to see this sort of outlet available to us and to see you guys do so well. you know, and the fact that we bounce info off each other constantly, are always there to support each other. And it's like, there's no way that we can't show up every year to one of these tournaments and be relevant, you know?
Right.
And so it's just another venue for me to apply myself to and to work towards. And I think it's more grounding for me. It's like, yeah, well, we got the tournament next year. This is something that I can reach out to and try to be the best I can be for, you know, in addition to for myself and for the next SASH test and for just overall overarching reasons that underpin everything, you know. So it's definitely something that brings being more truthful and more steady and more consistent. It's another reason to bring that into the forefront and to move forward with training.
So something that came to mind as you were saying that is this idea that sometimes gets applied to just like men's health stuff that you see on social media, but it shouldn't be. It really is across the board. And it's that you have to take action, right? So things like this, they make, you know, it's something that takes a long time, and it's a process about being able to handle more and handle more and handle more. And something we talk about ad nauseum on this podcast is the slowly chipping away and making yourself a more efficient individual. It's something that we talk about all the time, something that we struggle with a lot. Because, you know, there is an element that you need rest in order to grow and blah, 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 and X, Y, Z. But if you think about, the most successful people, if you look at our teacher, you know, I mean, he's made it all happen and raised 4 kids. You know, he's made it all happen and he's been running a school since he's 23. He's made it all happen and he's still had to do all this shit and hustle here and work there. And he worked 2 jobs along with running the school for, the longest time, you know, he's a go-getter and he's a person who takes action immediately. And he was like, how come you haven't posted anything on the Martial Mind thing? I'm like, I've just been so busy with my business, with my that. And then he goes, well, just remember, every time you're not making a post, somebody else is. Every time you're not getting a follower, somebody else is. Every time you're not making a video, every time you're not doing something, somebody else is. So it's like
the venom in his words, high octane.
The amount, it's not venom, it's true.
Right.
And even though it's difficult to hear, he's right. So it's the amount of times I play video games these days is far less. But the times that I do take to play video games, I appreciate. But I don't allow myself more than 2 hours at a clip because I have shit to do.
Right.
You know? And it's little things like that push you and push you and push you. And events like this and gearing up to your tests, you know, we talk to you how we do and we have these talks with you because we love you and we care and you're our brother. But we've also been there and we've been through it. You know? And now it's easy to fall into that I'll never be where they are kind of mentality. And that was how I've been feeling, and I really wanted to prove something to myself. And I'm going to be honest about my feelings because I know that there's somebody else out there who probably feels the same way and will quit because of these feelings. You know what I mean? And I don't want that person, whoever it is I'm speaking to give up or to quit. I want you to push forward. I want you to move on with your life. And I want you to try to attack it the next day instead of getting stuck in a rut. I was almost stuck in had it not been for that long text messages that you sent me, had it not been for the support of you over the phone, had it not been for all that, because I felt robbed for a long part of my life because I lost 2-3 years to my knee injury because that led to a bunch of other stuff and my back and blah, 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 XYZ. So all the stuff I'm over now. Everything's fine. And then COVID. So as soon as I was in the shape of my life, tested for my black staph, literally looking at pictures of me from 2019, and I was like, God damn, what happened? I was lean, I was fucking ready to, my shoulders were popping, you know what I mean? I was ready to go. And, you know, I just want to prove myself, for the love of God, I just want to prove that, okay, great, I can do a form, but I can fucking fight. I know I can fight. I know I can. And there's all these times where the moment comes and I get nervous. Jeff Chan, I was so nervous. I was not happy with my performance in those videos. I was not happy with my performance that day. South Carolina, was not happy with my performance that day. Had an asthma attack. No, I could have done better. Also, no, I wasn't doing the cardio that I should have done. You know? And now here we are, finally with this moment. We're training our asses off. We're doing all this shit. I'm in my head about this is my fucking time. This is my fucking time. I'm in kill mode. You know what I mean? I'm in that Tyson. I'm gonna hurt somebody. You know? Is it normal that you get an erection when you start hurting people? You know?
It's my favorite part.
Yeah, dude. What a great scene in a movie. But anyway, yeah. So you know, I'm in that mindset, and then as we said before, I get the buy, and what my emotions almost robbed me of, was being able to celebrate with my brother and being able to feel his joy and feel joy for him. I almost robbed myself of that experience by feeling sorry for myself because Ryan flatlined the dude. And it was beautiful. And it's all love. It's all love. You know what I mean? Like, there's nothing against, like, he was a good fighter. It wasn't anything like that. It was just Ryan out-timed him and caught him with a beautiful high kick that, out of respect, because it's a friend of our school's, we're not going to be posting. We already had that conversation. It already went online. It was asked to be taken down, and out of respect for that, out of respect for the competitor, and you know, our respect for his school, we're not going to put it up. But again, motivation for him to train for next year, motivation for you because he's going to want a rematch. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. And definitely a proud moment for me as Ryan's friend, because it was just that moment where, like, he had the guy, you know, second round, he had the guy walking backwards.
Well, before we get into the finish, I wanted to ask Ryan about round by round. You know, well, let's get an actual recap before we go straight to the end.
Also, it was a beautiful thing you just said. Also, I think that's a really healthy perspective to have in the way of looking at it.
But, like, also, fuck you, you know?
I mean, like, yeah, it's, no, that really was a really nice thing to say. I did appreciate that perspective very much. So I didn't mean to cut you off there.
Oh, no, you're good. So, yeah, so what was it like?
Yeah, round by round. Let's go.
Well, getting into even...
Oh, hold on. Before you go, I do want to say that, like, you were kind of a curmudgeon in the beginning of the day, but as the day went on and you did a couple of events, I think you were feeling better, and as we were warming up and doing pad work, you were certainly more jovial and in a better mood, and I think that was the secret to your success in the fight.
Possibly. I wasn't. It wasn't. I don't want to say I disagree with being a curmudgeon. I think I was just kind of like in low.
I might have taken it as that. I was like, "Hey, Ryan," and you were like, "Hey."
Yeah, no, I was just
in the zone.
Yeah, I was just in like low power mode, kind of putting my energy.
He's just asleep. He's just like a clock on a screen. Just...
boom, boom, boom.
It's like over. Yeah. It's like the DVD square. So it's like
when you're hitting the keyboard and the thing won't turn on. You're like, come on, you're not powered down.
the DVD screensaver going towards the corner.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I think it was just me.
That's an old reference.
That's a really old reference.
Lost half our audience.
It's just the what is it? I think it was so nerve-wracking once I got there and knowing all the stuff we had to do. Because also, too, you're seeing, this is adding into kind of talking about both things at the same time. Like, we walk in and, you know, there's people that are there just for Sanda fighting. There's people that came there literally just to, so they're waiting there the whole day, hand wraps on, the fucking, like, tie like ankle wraps, and they're just like...
And tie shorts.
Yeah, and I'm just
shorts.
like...
Those are Sanda shorts. They're similar.
But I'm just like, I'm like, oh, fuck, that guy, you know, oh my God, you know, these guys...
But they were all like 16 pounds.
Also true.
So,
so it was like, you know, I'm just, you know, my brain immediately goes to, I am less than. Immediately goes to that. I'm like, these guys are better than me. Oh my God, these guys are here just for Sanda. Jesus Christ, like, you know, just thinking, you know. So I'm going into the day, got to do the lion dance, kind of dealing with trying to figure out, you know, certain health stuff I'm trying to figure out. So I'm also nervous about that, of like gassing out, not feeling good. You know, got to do the lion dance, got to do all that, got to get through all my forms, and then do that at the end. You know, so I think that's why for the first 2 or 3 hours, until I got the first form done and I could, you know, kind of shake that, I could defrost a little bit, you know. I think that's really what I needed to be able to kind of feel a little bit better. But I think it was just, I was thinking about all that and just trying to kind of stay in the zone, which I think required me to just kind of power down some of the social stuff a little bit. In saying that, though, you know, so that's my mental state going into it, is seeing all these people who are like, again, people that are just there. You know, there was a kickboxer there was a guy who did Sanda and Muay Thai, there was, you know, people
traveled.
Yeah. One of the guys came up from Maryland just to fight.
Yeah.
And to the and again,
they're all like hitting pads too, like getting ready, which like doesn't help. You're like going to take a pee, and you just hear like, ah!
No, that was a perfect piece of it. Was that I'm going, you know, they're doing pads like outside in the lobby area of like the gymnasium place we were at, and they were and I'm walking to the bathroom and just fucking just hitting pads, and I was like, fuck. I was like, these guys are fucking like really good, you know, and what was interesting though too is not only me thinking I'm less than, but also not also. It's even that like not realizing who I am and what my ability is. And who I am as a martial artist doesn't even just go down to skill. Even just like like size. Like I'm those guys are my size, and they're just not. Like those, like all of those guys were like 30, like at least 30 to 40 pounds lighter than me, and I'm like,
you have like a bad dream, and everybody's bigger than you.
Yeah,
and it's like you're a little kid again. You know what I mean? Like
it's that, but in real life.
but it's like I still have like, you know, don't get me wrong, I'm not like big by any means, but it's just I'm still in like 7th grade skinny Ryan mode. Seriously, like that's how I am in my brain. It's like, oh, I'm like 90 pounds, but I'm not. I'm like 190 pounds. So it's like most of the only people that were, I was in a weird weight class, but I was fighting Ed and then one other guy who they were over 200. So it was like there was no, everyone else was 160s and 170s. That's where everyone else was. So I was like, oh my God, I was like, wow, I'm like 30 to 40 pounds heavier than these dudes. Like that's because I don't think of myself that way. Like I'm 30 pounds heavier than you. It's like I don't think that at all. I'm like, I feel like I'm like a little canary, you know. So going into the fight too, I think it was also good, honestly, letting us watch sparring first to get some of that shit out of the way, because also you get to see everyone fight, and it was relieving in the sense of, and this is not shit talking any of the other fighters, but I think this could be related to anyone, including me. Also, is like you see people hit pads. Everyone can look good hitting pads, including me, including you, because it's controlled. And you're in a controlled environment, it's going to look great. Self-defense looks great when it's a controlled environment. So, of course, that's all I'm seeing, and it's feeding into my mindset of, like, they're going to fuck me up. Who am I fighting these guys? Blah, 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 you know. And too, you know, they got like the dings on their, like, shins. They got big calves. I'm like, oh, these guys fucking kick. These guys fucking, you know, just feeding the demon a little bit, you know. But then once you see them out there, and you see people start getting thrown at, you're like, oh, okay. This is fine, you know, not in the sense of like, just seeing like, you know, because again, you look like a superhero when you're hitting pads, you know what I mean? But then you get out there, start throwing at, and then you really start to see how people work, and and I'm like, oh, okay, this is more doable in that sense. So getting to see the intensity too, because that's also, I think the biggest thing for me too was not only worrying about getting hurt potentially, but also not having the experience of hurting someone in that way, of sparring in the sense to like put someone out like that. I have not had any real experience doing that. So, you know, me like people pleasing, where I'm like, well, I mean, what if the other person isn't really going to do that? Like, am I going to be an asshole? Like, was that really what's going on, or is it just, you know? So it was just, I was conflicted with that and anxious about, like, then also me by being anxious about that, then potentially getting hurt, you know what I mean, or hurting someone unnecessarily. So there was a lot of mental stuff going into that.
You know, all I'm picturing is like brutally murdering somebody as I'm fighting them.
And it's just like medieval torturing, just lowering someone into hot oil. Just like, this is molten sugar. This is molten boiling sugar cane. It just has like a potato sack on it. So once we find, and I think too, I'm proud of myself that I have this ability, and I think you do as well, where when I'm anxious, I do have the ability to like flip and like turn on. You know what
once
I mean?
you're in the moment.
Oh yeah.
Once you're in the moment, it's different.
Because like getting ready for sparring, once we like put the gear on, I was like, because you're back up against the wall, and you're like, all right, there's no more time to be nervous. Like, because I gotta say too, don't get me wrong, I was nervous, of course, but thank God I was less nervous than I thought I was gonna be. Like when I got in there, I was like, yeah, whatever. Like I just need to like there's no room for that. Like there isn't. Like it's like Sigonga's here. He's giving me. He's like all right. He's like get out. He's like come to fight. He's like come to fight. He's like I don't care. Come to fight. I was like, all right. And that was that's literally what my like I was like I just was in a different mode. Like especially like getting ready for sparring, doing the pad work too. It was funny because Bianca was like, you know, because my girlfriend came and she was like,
our girlfriend. You just said our. Who's we?
Did I say our girlfriend?
You did.
You did.
Oh, you know what I was gonna say. I know why. Because I was gonna say our girlfriends came, and then I just switched to my girlfriend, and then I kept the first part. That's what happened.
Ryan knows how to words.
Anyway, so
I mean,
my singular girlfriend Bianca.
Between Bianca and I, you're our boyfriend.
That's also true.
Yeah,
I am shared somewhat.
I guess I'm not involved in this. So
it's a weird. Okay. John, you don't want to be. It's a weird. John operates the camera.
John operates the camera and occasionally just like, you know, when like. Just a little.
I'm the hotel chair, like the sofa, you know. Just they're the bed and I'm the chair. That's. The cuck chair.
Yeah, the cuck chair.
God.
The cuck throne. Sit on the cuck throne.
The cuck throne.
They don't. That's why it's the cuck throne.
Just little
watch it.
sad crowns.
This is getting cut out. This is getting cut out.
Well, I mean, if you're in the cuck throne, you want to be in the cuck throne.
Yeah,
So
you signed up for this.
yeah, that's
Somebody paid for this room.
yeah. There's nothing. I don't think there's anything more consensual than cucking. I think.
It's what is it? A pathological consent.
Yeah, I don't listen.
Sure, fuck my wife.
Please, please. That guy's begging you to fuck his wife.
Oh my god.
Anyway,
Evil.
quick sidebar into cucking. Woo.
Okay.
Right. Cool.
It's like there was like one of those like water embankments on the side of the highway. Just,
Yeah, it's
all right, we're back.
I couldn't believe it was still going.
Yeah.
You know?
We just
Killed a
lost-
family of ducks.
Lost a whole quarter panel.
Yeah.
Blew out your alternator. There's too much water.
Anyway.
To bring us back home.
Yeah. So Bianca was like, speaking of kind of the turning that switch, she was like, and it was cute that she said this too. 'Cause she was like, I want to make sure that like I'm there for you in the right way. So like for stuff like that, do you want me to like be near you, or do you want me to like? Do you want support? And I was like, because she's trying to feel it out. Because the first part of the day, I'm like, it was just like microwave, coming off of me. But she was like, I was like, I definitely could use some, but definitely, I guess just checking in with me, seeing how I'm feeling if I do need it. She was like, yeah, because for sparring, I could, I think you definitely needed me to not be there for that. And I was like, to not be like next to me. And I was like, yeah, I was like, not because I needed to be like thinking of like murdering someone. And I'm just like, no, because seriously, I'm just like watching them spar, and I'm just like I was just like focused. Like it was just like complete like angry music, just like thinking of like hurting people. But it was just that moment. Same thing with I was speaking to Blake about this too, of like, dude, like, because getting anxiety with testing, of like, you just have to show up for yourself. And once you do it once when you don't think you can, it changes everything. Pretty much forever. At least for me, I think. Where it's like leading up to my red stash test, I was so sure I was like, I'm gonna get knocked out. I'm not ready for this test, whatever. And I just like showed up the next day for myself. Same thing for Black. I was just like, yeah, I don't like. I'm here now. Everything else gets left at the door, and I'm showing up for myself. So that's kind of what happened leading into sparring, where I was just in the zone and I was just ready. I was ready to go, and I'm proud of myself that it wasn't like a horrifically anxiety. Like it was anxiety inducing. I just like, I'm not saying I wasn't afraid, because I definitely was, but it was just. My brain became task oriented regardless of how I was feeling. I think that's the best way to put it, which I'm grateful that was able to happen. So let me get into sparring. And there wasn't enough people to spar. It was me, Ed, and this other guy, and we had to basically draw straws almost. And
Crumpled little pieces of paper with numbers written on them.
Yeah.
So Ed got a bye into the second round. So that meant that I had to fight the first guy.
And it was 2 3-minute rounds.
It was 2 2-minute rounds. I don't think it was
2-minute rounds?
Yeah, it was 2 2-minute rounds. So I get up there, and we start moving, and I'm like immediately, I'm like not engaging that much. And he's engaging, he's definitely engaging a little more, and I can feel I'm tepid. I'm right on the edge of like engaging, and I'm gun shy, which has been an issue for me for a while of being the one to engage and set up engagements and actually kind of take the reins with that. But he's getting some good licks in. He like knocks me down the first round. It was one of those weird things where he just like hit me in a weird spot. He like hit me like right behind my ear, and it wasn't even that hard. I think I was just overwhelmed and I like got overloaded. And Sigmund was like, that happens. He's like, you always just fucking fall your first round. He's like, did it hurt? You okay? He's like, that happens. You fucking and he was hitting me in the face more than I wanted to be hit in the face, and which is my fault. And I was hitting some good shots back. We were exchanging, and we get into we break. Sigmund comes over. He's like, you're not engaging. He's like, you gotta bring it to him. You're not engaging. There's no leg kicks. You're not sweeping. Like, you gotta engage more. So I was like, all right. So I just got out there, and like first technique I did was just like baseball bat leg kick, just like immediately, just like whack, just like, and then Sigmund was just like, yeah, again, like just keep fucking kicking him, So I just kept throwing those, and
he got him backing up. Got him moving backwards.
Yeah. So I got him backing up, and I got him on the defensive a little bit, and I definitely too. I felt more comfortable with like head movement. I was dodging some shots, and I just felt more. Raining very hard outside.
It really started to rain just now.
But I started getting in that pocket of feeling not only.
My passenger window was open.
Oh shit! Okay.
It started to downpour in that last clip, and then I realized I realized my
Looks like
window
you fell into like a pond.
I realized my window was open. I literally sprinted to the car and sprinted back, and this is me now.
We were like, you're like, you want a rain jacket? We just like hear the door close. We're like, Ed's fucked. Ed's already outside. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, the sky opened up and Ed's the inside of Ed's car got wet.
It wasn't that bad. I caught it just in time.
Cool.
So anyway, so into the second round of fighting, I'm trying to be much more aggressive, and I succeed somewhat putting him on the back foot and just kind of having him kind of retreat a little more. And then, yeah, there was just a level of comfort that started growing into the second round of like I was in the moment more, where it wasn't just like task oriented. It was like that plus like he was hitting me and I was like, this is like he was hitting me hard. I mean, like he was like a big dude, but it was like it wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be, if that makes sense. And then he's on the back foot and he's kind of just like jogging back a little bit with his hands are down, and I was like, in that moment, I was like, maybe I can just throw this and make this stop. Basically, because I was just like, he just keeps fucking hitting me in the face. I'm just getting tired of getting hit in the face. Excuse me. So I just like threw a real like roundhouse kick and just hit him like right in the head, and he just like dropped, which was scary. Don't get me wrong. Like in the moment, it was like, of course, we're like, that's fucking cool, you know. But it's a scary thing, you know. And he dropped, like spat his mouthpiece out, like went like, you know, kind of limp for a second, yeah.
Yeah,
and thank God I think he's okay. But
oh yeah, he's fine. His teacher was already saying that he wants a rematch.
Yeah,
so he's fine.
Right.
So I knocked him out. And that was basically that. Which was kind of crazy. It was definitely a very surreal thing. And then from there, unfortunately, you know, again, it was just a logistical thing of then me and Ed fought because Ed got the buy into the next round, so we technically still had to fight, and it just kind of was more of like an exhibition round. We were still throwing pretty hard at each other, but we were mentally in a different spot than like if I lost and that guy was fighting you. It just would have been a different. It would have been a different thing. So it was just it was just the logistics of it were not in whoever's favor picked.
Yeah, it's funny.
Got the buy.
Sifu Leo was like, you didn't have to kill him, but you could have made him work harder. He's like, it's like your heart wasn't in it. And he's like, he was right. You know, like my heart wasn't in it. I was really disappointed because like I felt like like the opportunity was stolen from me. Like I worked hard for all this shit and like the opportunity was stolen from me. So in that moment, I was like, God, I don't want to have to try to fuck Ryan up right now. But then, you know, that mentality is like how I was when I was sparring with Jeff, or just that whole day. I was like, I want to look good, and I got to look good on camera, and I got to perform well, and I got to do this, and I got to do that, but I also like can't hurt somebody, and I can't put too much power behind it because then I'm going to be the asshole, and then it's like I'm feeling that same way, you know?
It was definitely a really weird space to be in, because like, don't get me wrong, it was like, in that moment, was I trying to like win and beat you? Like, yes, but also there's this weird thing of like, how hard do you go, and also not making it, like not having it be like having it be friendly and still like kind of an exhibition match, because it kind of was, because it's like, I think even Sifu Raul was kind of on board with that, where he said to everyone, he was like, they're from the same school, like, we're not going to they're going to do one round, like, it's not going to be like a drag down, throw out fight, you know,
because I don't think that's necessarily healthy to be like, all right, you're at a tournament now, go fight your best friend.
Yeah, no.
You know what I mean? I don't think it's a healthy thing to be like, all right, okay, so he had a beautiful knockout, now steal it from him. You know, it'd be one thing. It'd be one thing if the shoe was on the other foot.
Right.
You know, it'd be one thing if the shoe was on the other foot. But I also think that, like, if the shoe was on the other foot and you got the bye, I think when it was your turn, you know, I think it might have gone different. I think that was my mentality that made it go that way. You know?
I don't. I mean, that's again, as we both know, that's all speculation. But I also don't know, because I'm also like, you know, I would have been dealing with my people pleasing mentality in that moment, so it would have been weird. You know, I would have maybe had a hard time doing that. I don't know.
Well, I think that's where I was.
Yeah. And again, it was all just the logistics of it. It was all just how it worked out. Because again, if I was in your scenario, it would have worked out. It would have been the same thing. It wouldn't have made a difference. The other guy could have gotten the buy, and we could have fought the first round anyway. You know what I mean? Like it could have been shitty for another reason. You know, but. Yeah, you know, afterwards, it was really cool getting to kind of do all of that in front of Sifu Raul, in front of Sigong, in front of Shurjiao. Shurjiao was there kind of like in the corner, you know, and just to be able to do that, and Sifu was like, he was like, that was a special moment that like you had. He's like, that was a, like, people get moments like that, and like you had one of them. He's like, that was important what happened. So that was,
and that's what he was trying to say. Like everything that you've been through with the past couple of years. I know we've talked about it on the show, and I honestly kind of want to do like we have like, like there's over 500 people on YouTube. There's a lot more listens. I kind of want to. We can have that discussion afterwards about like what we do with the earlier episodes, but I would like to do like a new introduction, like a reintroduction to like all the new people that we have listening to the show and watching on YouTube. Yeah. However, that being said, we have told this story about you before, but you had a period of non-dedication prior to deciding to get your stuff together and get your red and then subsequently your black sash.
Yeah.
And I think that this was the moment, and this is how Sifu saw it, this is the moment that you needed to prove to yourself that what you were doing has been worth your time.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I could say from the person looking through the lens, it was like everything you guys did, and like on the topic of Ryan's fight, it was one of the coolest things I've ever seen in my life. It was fucking amazing. The sound that kick made, like holy shit, dude. It was beautiful. It was immaculate, and I think I've told both of you already that you all left it all on the floor.
Yeah,
100%. I'm really proud to have seen that. Proud to be your friend, and it was fucking awesome. So you guys should feel proud too. And I know it's easier said than done, and I know that's kind of been your guys' struggle to kind of like be okay with everything you did. But I've just from the outside looking in, man, like you guys are killers, and it's awesome, and you should be very proud of yourselves.
Well, thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I'm proud of you as well.
Nah.
See?
All right.
See what I mean?
Eh.
See what I mean? See what I deal with? You see what he does? Every fucking day.
I'm just wet right now.
I know, yeah.
Ed had to run out in the rain.
It is wet.
Look at how wet he is. Look at this wet boy.
I was outside for seconds. Like not even 30 seconds.
Like a Cocker Spaniel. You've got Cocker Spaniel hair. I got nice triceps. Look at that.
Oh my God.
Sorry. All right, you want to get yours in? There you go. Go
Hey.
ahead. Now's your time.
Quick suggestion.
Which arm?
That one.
It's
There.
mirrored.
Look at that.
Mirrored.
Who's the meatiest boy? Say it in the comments. It's probably.
John's got more meat than me.
Yeah, maybe. It's pretty meaty too.
You're naturally bigger than me. You don't even lift weights.
Yeah.
I have to lift weights to look like this.
Yeah, no, I got lots
John
of
just
distance
fucking
built in.
exists.
Hey, just a good suggestion, just to bounce off this. Can we stop doing this?
Doing what?
This?
Flexing? I'll flex.
I have an idea. Why don't we stop doing this?
Ryan's a little
that,
sad. That's
yeah.
okay. Yeah. We'll stop now. Moving on.
He was just like oiled up. You're like, yeah.
So we'll go from the triceps into the biceps.
So,
Nice back.
So anyway.
Look, I was gonna say, and now we can move on to the hamstring contest. Everybody, show your hamstrings. Just south of the butt cheeks.
Everybody take your pants off.
Mitch turning these into like 80s jean shorts.
Just get up and rip them
I
off.
call these the Hasselhoffs.
Dude, I used to advocate for the demo team to have a tracksuit that had the rip-away pants.
Rip-away pants, dude.
And I was
Snap.
just like, we'll call them action pants. And Sifu was like, well, we will not call them action pants.
It is not happening.
Yeah.
Okay, I just want you to know, like, in my head, they're going to be called action pants. So,
Yeah.
whatever you think they're called. Every time I rip them off, I go, action pants.
So whatever you call them, it's like when you say F word, my brain goes fuck. You say pants, I say action pants.
Action pants.
That's what they are now.
You say breakaway pants, I say action pants.
Action pants. So, yeah, that was basically the tournament, and I do think it's something that is, I mean, to have the experiences that we all had for different reasons, I think are gonna push us into the next tournament as well. You know, it's like you performing how you performed and did what you did. Same for me, will push us for different reasons to do better, basically, individually, and I think it's important. So. Yeah, it was a great experience. You know, Sifu Raul, if you're watching this, thank you so much for the opportunity and to be able to, you know, perform and rep the school. Yeah, I mean, just from that, John.
Yes.
Are you scared?
A little bit. A little scared. A little scared.
How are you feeling? We got tests coming up in 2
weeks from Sunday.
Holy moly.
2.5 weeks.
Fucking A, man. Yeah, I mean,
Wild.
with each week that passes.
Testing for orange.
Testing for orange sash. Yes, sir. I get a little more hot under the collar with each week that passes. But Sifu told me last night that I'm ready. So it's well, he said it broadly to the class, and he also looked at me. So you guys are ready, and so it wasn't like, John, you're ready. That didn't happen. But it's just, you know how it is. You're preparing for something big, and there's just little things I know I still need to put work in, but you know, I'm just trying to, you know, be okay with like, yes, I have my material. Last night I was going over Tian Chuan, one of our forms, and at first when Sifu asked me to go through it, just like he put me on the spot, and I just have this thing where my brain just turns off when it's like, all right, do it, you know, I just can't do it, and my brain shut off halfway through the form, and he's like, all right, you're gonna work on this section until I come back. And then he came back, and I did the form front to back, and he's like, dude, if you have it, just have it, like you have it, so. Yeah. So
Sifu Leo has a really great way of just like breaking you out of your shit, because he's just so matter of fact. And some people can see that as cruel in some of his delivery, but at the same time, if he wasn't that way and he wasn't at the school, I don't think we would be who we are. You know what I mean? Like there's an element of that you need. Like that's one thing about like being in this friendship and being in this dichotomy of the three of us, and like understanding who and what we are and our roles and everything, and like, because if you guys think that we've never fought, like we fought. If you think we've never had issues with each other, we've had issues with each other. If you think we've never had to work through something, we've had to work through stuff. If you think we've never had disagreements, we've had plenty of disagreements. And in working through that stuff as a group and staying together and doing what we're doing, you learn a lot about yourself and your roles in this. And like, and then you start to appreciate everybody else's roles and who they are and how they are. You stop making it all me, and you start just observing things how they are and taking it for what it is. And that's a great lesson that he teaches you, is to take things for what they are and be confident in yourself and just do it. Yeah. Shut the fuck up and do it. You know what I mean? Like, he's not the kind of person that's like, oh, you know, well, that move was a little incorrect, and let's just fix it. And let's like, he's like, no, it's fucking wrong, stupid. Let's go. Do it right. Do what I showed you to do. That's not what I showed you, fucking dumbass. Let's go. You know what I mean? Like, and you know it because it's exactly true.
That's it.
And he's like, and you'll do something right, and he'll be like, that was good. I hate you. And then he'll walk away. Yeah. And he's just, because there's an element of him fucking with you, but there's also like an element of him just like keeping that teacher-student barrier and pushing you to be the best version of yourself, and that's not a comfortable process.
And that's what he's doing. You know, he's absolutely lighting a fire under your ass every day, and that's what he does with me. And I know that that's him expressing his job. Like that's how he does his job. And
that's how you become a warrior. You don't become a warrior without struggle and without suffering. You must suffer. Right. You must suffer, and that's the problem. Is people start to suffer, and they're like, "Why am I suffering?" And it's like, that's the journey, and that's the difference between an under sash and a black sash. It's not that we don't suffer, it's that we approach our suffering differently.
Yeah.
Right. And
yeah, that's true.
So, I mean, beyond last night's class, last night was an awesome class. I got to work with Shane. They're like, we partnered up and we were doing like the strength.
Sifu was the youngest son. Sifu Greg's the youngest son.
Yeah. And Shane, I love Shane. He's awesome. He's such a great martial artist, and he's so lanky. he's like just getting used to his 15-year-old limbs. Like, oh,
he just turned 14. Actually.
Oh my god!
And he's shot up like 6 inches in the past like year and a half.
Yeah, Shane is a sprout, and he's strong, man. And you know, like he got paired up with me, and I mean, like, what do you think he's at? Like a $120, like a $130,
if he's lucky.
Yeah,
I would say probably $150.
So I'm a little more than two of him, and we're doing strength stuff, and like we're busting each other's ass, and Sifu would come up to me. He's like, John, fucking bully him, push him, bully him, and I'm like, okay, you know. So there's the pressure, and he's like, you know, it was fun. I don't want to break him, of course, you know, and like not that I could. He's very strong, you know.
Yeah, but it's like Sifu threw him into the black sash. We had visitors for the black sash class this past Sunday, so you know he was like, all right, Shane, we got visitors coming, like you're coming. And he trained with us for the full 4 hours. I mean,
he's a certified badass.
We were working on throws from a kick. And, like, I threw him a couple of times. And I'm like, you good? And then I was gentle with him. But he can take it. And then he's doing it with me. And I'm like, and I nailed him in the stomach the first kick. And I'm like, get out of the way. Get out of the way.
Yeah.
And then he, it doesn't throw me. And then I pull down and I show him, like, hey, you're dead. You know what I mean? Like, do it. Do the throw. And I throw the front kick at him, and then I'm like, woof, boof, and I hit the floor, and he's like, are you good? And I'm like, yes! Like, that was it. That's what I wanted the whole time. Yeah. Like, we have mats for a reason. Just toss me. We're good.
Right. Yeah, so I mean, working with Shane is fun. I don't get to do it often, but it's he's awesome. And after the class, just like when we're bowing to each other, he's like, thanks, man. You know, just because I put him through it, and he put me through it.
And he
you know?
appreciates it, and he's the kind of kid that like once he gets it, he gets it.
Yeah.
And like once he got that throw every single time. He's
Right.
a sponge.
Right, man. But I mean, as for literally like going back to preparing for the test, though, it's like this is definitely on my mind a lot, boys. It's definitely on my mind a lot.
It should be.
So, you know, and it's like the endurance is the main thing that's on my mind. You know, and in addition to just like neogenetenic and application,
You have to remember it's mindset as well.
Yeah.
It's all in how you approach it. Because the second you get into your head about that, like, oh, I should have worked harder, I should have done more, you're done. You're defeated.
Right.
You're defeated. If you think shameful thoughts, your body becomes weaker.
This past Friday though was great, like because I feel good. You know, I don't feel like that shameful kind of like, oh, I should do more. It's like, well, it's time to work. But Friday night was sort of a really good validating night for me. We went 9 rounds. I sat out for one of them. That's all right. I needed a second. But Sifu told me, he's like, you fight like a lightweight. He's like, you were moving around really well. And he's like, you're for a guy your size, like you shouldn't be moving the way you do, and you do it well. And he compared me to some pro fighter. I forget who it was. You fight like this guy. He's like, it wasn't amazing, but he moved like a lightweight, and you're moving like a lightweight. So
right, and then if you're doing it this early, you know what I mean? Like, I refuse to believe that we're getting older. Like, I know we're getting older. I know it might not be like a thing where we ever get into the UFC or anything like that at our age. But at the same time, it doesn't mean we can't be great fighters. It doesn't mean we can't be good competitors. You know, that's the beautiful thing about like the divisions that we're in and like what we're doing. So as long as we stay healthy within these tournaments, within these competitions, we can continue to fight.
Right.
You know.
Yeah.
Also, a little background too is that one thing that we like to do, and the way that we did it Friday night, we did 3 rounds of just hands, 3 rounds of just feet, and another 3 rounds of everything all together. And like those, like when I'm just doing just hands or just feet, like you took away half of my toys. You know, I can't play as well when I don't have half of my toys. You know, so like I felt like a fish out of water for like the first 3 rounds, or the first 6 rounds rather. And as soon as like round 7, 8, 9, like I was sparring against Turtle, and just like, you know, like working distance, like, you know, leading with the kick, coming back out and throwing a spinning hook, and like, you know, really just playing around, and I had a lot of fun. So I mean, what are you guys' thoughts on the whole like separating hands and feet? Like, how do you guys feel about that whole thing?
Oh, it's important because you understand the tools better when it's the only thing that you can use, and and when you're handicapped, it forces you to be better in areas that you're weak. Like, I love the just hands rounds because I'm good at that. I hate the just feet rounds because I'm bad at it.
Yeah, I feel the same way.
I'm the opposite. I feel good with just feet. I feel really bad with just hands.
Fucking legs.
Yeah.
And your upper body doesn't move so much. And I'm you know, I guess maybe it's genetic. Like, my grandfather was in the military. He used to do some boxing. You know what I mean? Like in the army. You know, like it's he taught me how to throw a punch when I was a kid, you know, so maybe like there's something that in it. Maybe I'm just more connected up here. Sifu Nick says that like I keep my energy too high and I need to lower my energy a little bit more, and I've been trying working that into my sparring and into my technique doing, and I think that I've been feeling disconnected from my legs my entire life, and that's why like I can never ollie, you know what I mean? Like there's like weird things that like my feet were like disconnected from my head, and I think that like those experiments force you to do things. They force you to drop your energy. I had my just kick rounds against Shane. That's the only one I remember. I think I did more. I can't remember who else I did them with. I think I might have just done a couple rounds with Shane with just kicks. I can't remember who else I did just kicks with. It doesn't matter. Okay. Sometimes you're just so in the moment and working, like it's just like you're not there, and that's a good thing. Like I don't remember doing Bappo during the tournament. I don't remember it.
Wow.
You know, like it's like that's you know, I don't really remember doing broadsword either. And like a lot of my tests are like that. Like a lot of my tests are like, how was the test? I'm like, I don't know. I was elsewhere.
Yeah. Now that I'm thinking about it, it's like, yeah, my high yellow sash, I remember a few moments, but like, yeah, it's kind of a blur.
Yeah, because you're just so like in it and focused that like you're just so in it and focused and doing it that like sometimes it's difficult to commit it to long-term memory. Yeah. Which is also why like, you know, like, oh, eyewitness accounts. It's like, how reliable is that? You know?
Right.
Right.
You know, so like, anyway, point being, it's an important way to craft your skill set and your tools, and also the use of control.
Right.
And that way, by the time you get to the just hands and feet rounds, you've kind of worked out the kinks in both, and then you can do them together, and now you can really start to experiment.
Oh, dude, I felt loose. Like 7, 8, 9, I was in it. It was really fun, and like that kind of like that annoyed, like, oh, I can't throw this kick, like, so I just got to work the hands, like, oh, I just can't throw my hands, I just got to work the kicks, and all of a sudden it's like, let's go, gang's all here, you know.
Yeah.
So that was definitely really fun. I enjoyed that, but that was like 9 rounds. I got to do 3 for the test. So if I just keep doing what we're doing,
it's gonna be different.
Good. Yeah, I know.
I'm just warning you. It's gonna be different.
Yeah, no, punches will be thrown. Yeah, it's gonna be, you know.
You're gonna have to suck it up and keep moving. No, you're orange stash, so nobody's gonna try to kill you, but it's gonna hurt a lot more than a Friday night. Just you need to be mentally prepared for that. You know, you're fighting 3 rounds. You know what I mean?
Right.
That also means that if you try to take a black sash's head off, they're gonna return fire. So it's a certain level of respect and certain level of the back and forth. You know, like we were toned down a lot on his black sash test, but there was still a lot in there. You know what I mean? And they're obviously gonna fight harder for a guy going for black sash than a guy going for orange sash doing his first fighting for a test. But I remember my 3 rounds for my orange sash test were tough. They were tough. I took some good shots, and I wanted to give up and I wanted to quit. And like my second round, I remember Sifu Lloyd picked me up, and he just did that thing where he like goes forehead to forehead with you, and he was just like, "Get back in there and show me everything you got for this last round." And it was like, you know, Raffy or something like that. So he was just like dancing around everything I was throwing. I couldn't touch him. Yeah. But like I tried, and that's what's important. It's about you will fail. You will fail, but it's about getting up again, because you don't fail at the test until you give into the incremental failures. Once you give into the incremental shortcomings, that's when you fail. But when you push through, that push-up sucked. Okay, let me do more push-ups. Oh my God, I don't have any room in me. Okay, keep going. Okay, my horse stance is terrible, but I'm just gonna hold it until I collapse. And my legs hurt from the horse stance, but I'm just gonna keep going through my shit. And I got ice packs, and I got Quan Moon, and I have wraps, and I have ankle braces, and I have all this different shit. Like when Lauscher Jack went for, who you've never met, when he went for his black sash test, he was like pissing blood the next day. He took so many kidney shots. He tweaked this knee, we put a knee wrap on him. Then he tweaked the other knee, we put a knee wrap on him. And then, you know what I mean? And then like his wrist was hurting, so we had to wrap his wrist. The guy was a neoprene mummy by the time he was done with his test. You know, and he pushed through, and he got his black sash. Unfortunately, he was 18, and he went to college, and he hasn't been back since. He was a great martial artist, but, you know, regardless of the fact, he pushed through, because that's what the test is about. It's the event, you know? It's not like McGregor takes a shot and like breaks a rib and it's like, oh, I don't know if I can keep fighting. You know? It's just like you just keep going. Your face is mangled and your nose is fucked up and you got blood coming out of your face. Just like that kid at the competition. That kid in like the 150 division got his nose busted and just kept going. Yeah. You know, like, and that's what you got to do. Right. Covered in blood, cool. Just keep moving. You know.
Right. No, it's gonna be a day, man. So
I'm excited.
It is so close too.
It's gonna be a very, very good high energy test. A lot of people are testing. It's a very high ranking test too.
It's a huge test.
For black, which they're gonna make it even worse for you. I hate to break it to you. So yeah, very excited for this upcoming test. I think you're gonna kill it. I think it's gonna be really difficult. I think you will shed tears because I have cried after every big test. And this is your first test where you're fighting, so it's a big test. I know you've heard me say that green sash is your first real test, but this is a real test. It's a real test. Green sash is your first advanced test, so that's why it's such a big difference. But this is a real test. It's gonna be much more real than high yellow or yellow sash. You know what I mean?
Orange sash is like you're like kind of waiting. You know, you're kind of like treading water in the deep end, and then green sash is someone just pushing you on. It's like green sash and up is like they're like, all right, now go under the water. Like, this is cool, and then you just see someone just pouring gasoline on the top and just lighting it on fire.
Don't come out.
Don't come out. Hold your breath, bitch. But no. So it's a good time, and we're gonna have our second female black sash ever.
And I think Brendan is testing too.
Is he?
Yeah. I think on Friday.
Really?
I think he was talking. I think Sugan was talking to Adrian and Sifu, Adrian and Brendan. He's like, then test.
Sometimes that's the push that you need. You know, sometimes you test and you look like shit, and then you get through it because like Brendan has been back and forth, and like some of his stuff has needed a lot of work, and then when he really does it, it's like, oh wow, that's what we need. You know what I mean? That's what you need. Yeah. That's how you need to do it. And then the motivation will kind of be back and forth. But Brendan has been in the school longer than me. And he was in the kids class when I first started helping teach. He was like this big. And now he's like enormous.
Yeah.
You know, like you don't want to get hit by him. He's got big arms, you know what I mean?
Large boy.
And he, you know, they him and his dad work really, really hard. And even Adrian, since he got his black sash, he's you know, his skill has grown a lot since he's gotten his black sash.
Yep.
And I believe we'll see the same thing out of Brendan. So I'm excited that he's decided to go, if he has decided to go. But that being said, none of these people will have accomplished any of this stuff if they didn't take action and they didn't push forward. And the one thing that I'm constantly telling everybody, especially as I teach the beginners, is learn to hold yourself accountable now. It's nobody else's fault. Nothing is anybody else's fault. Because if you start victimizing yourself and placing blame elsewhere, you take the accountability off of yourself to then fix the issues that it was caused by. So everything, in a sense, is up to you. So you can't fall into a victimhood mentality, and you can't... somebody in the Discord the other day, just yesterday I think it was asking about like, you know, like other stuff and how they still train and how they get incorporated. I'm like, what do you mean? Like, do you mean like lifting weights and stuff like that? Like not getting obsessed with that? Because they were talking about like getting obsessed with other things, like having it detract from your Kung Fu. And I'm like, listen, everything has to then complement your Kung Fu. Everything has to complement your Kung Fu. If that is your main priority, if that is your lifestyle, if that is what you do, your martial art, your art, whatever it is, if you're a painter, you're a musician, that's like that's your thing, that's your top utmost priority, then it has to remain your top utmost priority. But it doesn't mean that you can't have other things in your life. There's 24 hours in a day, and there's however many hours that equates to in a week, you know? Like
that many.
that many days.
But you have time. So it's all about time management, and it's all about appreciating things and having a positive mindset and a positive mentality, because the more you allow yourself to get stressed out, the more you start convincing yourself you need breaks. So really what it is you need breaks, obviously, because you can't just run indefinitely,
Right.
because you're not Forrest Gump. You know, you'll die. You need water and you need food. You need to sleep. Like, that's obviously like legitimate things. There's good studies about, like, you know, people who sleep for 4 hours have significantly less testosterone than people that sleep for like 6 or 7 hours, you know, like, so like you need to prioritize these things in order to move forward in a healthy manner. However, that doesn't mean that, you know, like, oh my God, work was so hard today. I need to take a break. My mental health, I need to rest. Because all you're doing is you're just unplugging. You're not attacking it. You're not challenging yourself. You're not changing your mindset. So take action. Take accountability. Take action. And if you're going to get into something, if you're going to get into another art, if you're going to get into some, you know, be it painting, be it guitar, be it like, for me, like rock climbing and paddleboarding and like weightlifting and all that stuff, make sure it's something that complements your Kung Fu. I love to rock climb. I haven't been able to make it in quite a few months, but I love rock climbing. It's been a pastime of mine for a couple of years. I would love to get back into it if you're thinking about going today. But when I am rock climbing, I think about how strong this is going to make my hands for my grappling, and how strong it's going to make my hands for all my animal techniques and my forearms and my fingertips. You know, there's a Kung Fu aspect to it. Oh, I go there, nice soft floor. I can really stretch. I can really, really stretch. Do some kip ups, do some butterfly kicks because the floor is nice and soft. You know what I mean? Like, so there's always these opportunities. That doesn't happen if you're not having fun. It doesn't happen if you attach yourself to this negative understanding. That's when it's like you go to the gym and you're like, I could do forms, but like, oh God, that's going to suck right now. And you don't do your forms. I could run, but like, oh God, that's going to suck right now. You know, you get to the school early and you're like, I could do practice a little bit, but I guess I'll just sit here and stretch and play on my phone for a little while because doing that form is going to be terrible. But it's just like you said with the event. Once it's done, it's done. Once you're in it, you're in it. Once your heart's racing, your heart's racing. And then you feel better. You feel good. Yeah. So take action. Do what you're going to do. Be a champion, because the only person that's going to make you one is you. That being said, you're in the process. You're doing it. You're going to be great. You're going to be awesome in a couple of weeks. Whatever we are allowed to post from the tournament, we will work that out with our instructors, because we've had that conversation before. And if you're in the Kung Fu community, you know how close-knit and private a lot of the stuff is. So we will ask, we will see, and awesome job.
Thank you.
Very proud of what you've accomplished and
Likewise.
what you've done. And it's my turn next. So.
Wow.
Shots fired.
What a nice thing to say.
What do you mean? What do you mean? Doesn't
This
mean
guy.
Yeah, it is though.
This guy.
This guy, guys.
Gang war confirmed.
There'll be gang crime happening.
There will
next.
be infighting on the Martial Mind
Oh my God,
podcast.
it's healthy. It's healthy. I'm just trying to be confident. I'm not trying to shoot shots at Ryan at all. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is I'm coming for first place next year. And honestly, if we do end up having to fight each other, we'll just do both rounds and have a good time.
Mm-hmm.
That's really all it's about.
No, I know.
I think we got two on our heads about stuff like that. We have to remember we're fighters, and that fighters who are in the same camp end up fighting each other all the time, and it's all love. So as long as we can be more confident going into it next time, we can have a better mentality going into it next year, and just it's like Sifu Leslie. Sifu Leslie from Sifu Raul school. He said to me, he's like, you guys are not taking first place next year. I'm just letting you know, and that's all love. Yeah. It's all love. So I know
what you mean.
I mean it in the best way. I'm coming for that first place next year. If I don't get it, I don't get it.
But also, so am I. So
right,
you're shit out of luck. You know what I mean?
But also, so am I.
That sounds more like shots fired than what I said.
Nah, I'm gonna get first because you're gay. So I don't know.
I didn't know they judged on that, but okay. Anyway.
They did. That's why you didn't place, because you're gay.
Ooh, they're like, that guy's got long hair. That's kind of gay.
We're already canceled, boys.
Yeah.
I love we can have a good episode and always just inject some like
Yeah,
seventh
you
grade.
open your mouth and then it just
some seventh grade like injecting like Brian into meat humor. Just cancel.
Set it and forget it. Inject whole garlic cloves into the center of your lamb. Like that's going to do anything,
No, but I understand what you mean. You're just proclaiming what you want to happen. I got you. Well, boys, this was a fucking great episode.
Definitely. And thank you to you both for being as awesome as you are.
Likewise. Thank you to you too.
Thank you. And we're what was I about to say? Jesus Christ. Congratulations to you, Ryan,
Thank you.
On all of your accomplishments in the tournament. Congratulations to you, Ed, as well, for placing and doing as well as you did.
Thank you.
Like I said earlier, you should both be proud. So thank you also to our listeners. Thank you to our followers. And this has been the Martial Mind Podcast.